So thank you so much, all of you, and being here today, for saying yes to rocking your 2020 Great Awakening. We've still got folks coming in, so I'm just letting them in. Thank you all for joining us. We began with an opening blessing. So we're here to talk today about rocking our Great Awakening. And that might seem a little bit counterintuitive to what we're experiencing right now, but I assure you it is not. So I welcome all of you to just allow yourself to come into a state of receiving. We have a beautiful meditation and transmission, healing transmission we're going to be taking you through today that I'm so excited to share with you. So to begin, I want to talk to you a little bit about the fact that we are in a Great Awakening. So most of you, I believe, know this, but for those of you that were a little bit confused or like, what the F is going on in our world? We are in the time of a Great Awakening, and this has been prophesized in all traditions for a very long time, and we're here. And this Great Awakening is allowing us to see clearly what we have not been able to see before. And the reason we have to see this clearly is that before, the limiting systems and the oppressive systems and the organizations and all that's there that's been in our collective, and more importantly, the mainstream consciousness, it has to be seen before it can completely fall. So we are in the time of the third dimension and the fourth dimension dying off, as it were. And while this might seem frightening or scary to some, it is really a blessed event. And my intention is to support those called in navigating this time of Great Awakening and navigating this dying off process in a way that allows you to go deeper and higher into who you really are and ascend more fully into fulfilling your destiny. So there's a lot of places we can go with this. My intention is to be as focused as possible in supporting you today so that you have a greater understanding of what's happening. The transmission that we have for you today will take you really deep into your alignment with who you really are, and it's going to bring through a lot of guidance around what's happening. So I'm just continuing to let folks in. So I want to talk a little bit about the fact that this Great Awakening is ending what's known as samsara, which is the death rebirth cycle. So I think it was about a year ago, I received the guidance that we would no longer be incarnating onto the third dimensional earth plane. And so this Great Awakening is part of the ending of that cycle. The earth has chosen, universal consciousness has chosen that the earth plane will now vibrate in the frequency of love and unity and peace. So what we might call a fifth dimensional energy. So that means everything that is not that has to be cleared out. So that's again why the veil is gone. We're seeing things clearly. Systems are falling apart, relationships are falling apart, organizations are falling apart. All of this is for the purpose of the rebirthing of the fifth dimension, because you and I are not going to make our transition out of these bodies and then come back to a third dimensional earth. The third dimensional earth will not exist any longer after this. So those that are not choosing to embody love and unity and peace consciousness, their energy will be redistributed. It's not our job to know. That's their soul's journey and their experience. So we don't have to have all the details about what that means for them. Where we want to stay focused is where we vibrating at. So right now, the message from the highest light is we want to huddle together, is the term they're using. Huddle together with our spiritual communities and come together and create together, do business together, support each other, have meals together, have meditation together. So group meditation is becoming an even greater priority than ever before. And that's because of the acceleration of the vibrational frequency that group meditation provides. So we'll be doing that here today. This supports you in vibrating at a fifth dimensional or higher level, or what we could call love consciousness, unity consciousness. So we have a lot of terminology out there. Language doesn't seem to really encapsulate though what we're talking about here. So this is something you're going to feel in your body, right? So I'll give you the guidelines and the words, and this is also vibrational medicine, what you're receiving today. So that is going to support your frequency and elevating and vibrating in the frequency of love and unity and peace, because that's who you truly are. So the reason for the Great Awakening is so that you and I can return to source consciousness, but while we're in a physical body, while in an earth body. So this is something, you know, a few great masters have done, and now more and more of us are doing, because we are at this time now where the earth will no longer be vibrating in the third dimensional or fourth dimensional frequency. What do I mean when I say third dimensional and fourth dimensional? I want to break that down a little bit more, because we can look at it from the scientific perspective. So that's going to give you one framework. I'm coming at it from a consciousness-based perspective. So when I say third dimension, what I mean is physical only reality. So an example of a third dimensional system would be our medical system. So the medical system is just looking at the physical body. It's not taking into account quantum physics, which tells us the minute there's an observer observing a cell in the body, the cell changes. So, you know, a third dimensional structure is the medical system. They're, you know, looking at the body only from the physical perspective, and then they're diagnosing, which is modern day witchcraft, that is cursing. The body will have symptoms, and we're meant to show up for those symptoms, but we're not meant to just look at the physical component. We want to look at all of that. But third dimensional example is our medical system in the mainstream matrix. Fourth dimensional consciousness is like a new age consciousness or social justice consciousness. It takes into account that there's more than just the physical, there's the psychological, and even for the new age community, oh, there's the psychic, there's the unseen. So that's a great next level to go to. Fifth dimensional consciousness is embodying the frequency of love and source. So we're not just looking at the body from a physical only perspective, and we're not just looking at it from a psychological perspective or a mental perspective or emotional perspective. We are looking at the whole being, the spiritual component, the destiny points, the ancestry, the past lifetimes, the soul agreements, right? We're looking at it from a source-based perspective. So what we want you to be able to do is that as we're in this time of Great Awakening and there's a lot of collapse happening, that you can hold that frequency of love and peace, no matter how much the negative agenda tries to bait you into fear. So we want to be really clear. And this was an expansion point for me, because I didn't necessarily want to talk about it. I really wanted to be the love and light lady, because that's really fun. And we also have to be real, and we got to be grown-ups. That's the big thing. We got to grow up. So when we're growing up from a third dimensional or fourth dimensional consciousness, we're also understanding that it is all love and light at the highest universal level. The earth plane has not been love and life, right? Light, it's been polarity, and we're having to see that those shadow aspects within ourselves and within the collective. We have to get real about it. We have to start, you know, stop being like, oh, I don't want to see that. We need to see it so that it can collapse, because it's been operating the whole time. So when I talk about the negative agenda, and there's more in the transmission that will, you know, the HLT says it way better than I ever could, but there's more about what that means and how that operates. We call it the negative agenda because it's the least charged way to talk about the polarity dynamics and a lot of the disturbances that take place on the earth. The third dimensional, fourth dimensional earth. Our work, though, is to vibrate at the fifth dimensional frequency or higher, so that we begin to create the new reality. And what we know from quantum physics and from the law of attraction, the law of magnetism, is that when we shift our focus, whatever we focus on expands. So if all of us, there's 122 of us here on June 22nd. I mean, I don't know how Spirit does it, but I love it. If all of us can consistently come together and hold our frequency in love and peace and unity, and we know we're all part of one human family, and we're here to support the shifting of the dynamic from the negative agenda to the love-based agenda. If we do that consistently, then that is the reality that you and I get to live in. If we continue to focus on what the mainstream feeds us and what the masses are doing, then we'll continue to have more of that experience. And what I've been shown is that, you know, folks are choosing to have that experience, and they will literally just keep playing out their dystopia. And it's not our job to interfere with that. It's our job to stay focused on supporting each other, supporting ourselves, and holding and embodying those frequencies of love and unity and peace. You know, the great masters told us, you can be in any situation. If you are vibrating in love and peace, you're going to have a totally different experience than those who are believing the fear virus, the rage virus. These are different psychological attacks that have been released on the collective. So also, if you have questions about this, we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A and we can go into it deeper. There's a lot that's happening here. And when you look at it from different frequencies, you'll see it in a different way. My intention is to hold the highest perspective. So I'm always asking, what is the source perspective? What is the highest light perspective on what's happening? I'm not interested in knowing about, you know, this theory and that theory and, you know, this fortune telling and that fortune telling. I want the highest perspective. So that's what I'm always going to give you, because that will serve you and benefit you the most. Okay, so why am I even doing this? Let's talk about that. Why am I even here doing this? 12 years ago, I made a deal. I made a deal with the divine. To be fair, I thought I was going to die. So I really was like, okay, I will do whatever you want. I was on a twin bed in the middle of Brazil. I tell my full awakening story, and both of my major awakenings, one happened in 2008 and one in 2015, on the new documentary that's coming out July 31st called Awakened Grace. So stay tuned for, we've got the trailer out and I'll be sharing that more. So you can know more about my story there. But I'll give you the overview that in 2008, I made a deal with the divine. I said, if you let me live, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I will be whoever you want me to be. I surrender. Just please let me die, not die. At that point, I was afraid to die. So I have a very different viewpoint of death now. But at that time, I was scared. And so I made my deal with the divine. I couldn't walk for about 4 days after that. But after that, healing energy started coming out of my palms. And when I would touch people, they would say, you know, pain in my body stopped. It's totally freaked me out. I didn't know what that meant, but I went on a journey with it. And in 2010, I found the modality called Body Talk. And as soon as I laid down to have my first session, I heard and I had a knowing of this is where to put this healing energy. This is the modality to use, this container for this healing that you don't know what to do with. Also in 2010, I had a psychic reading and the woman said to me, you're here to lead groups to support the shift in consciousness. I thought she was crazy. I didn't want to lead groups. I just wanted to do something with this energy that was freaking me out. And so I thought she was a little bit nuts. But in 2012, I started my full-time Body Talk practice. I'd been doing it part-time up until that point. And we started holding groups in my living room, 6 people in my living room. And then we maxed out my living room with like 25 people. We were cramming into my cute, sweet place in Portland. I was in the West Hills in Portland. And then we went to an event space. And then we ended up maxing out the event space. We had like 80 people crammed in this event space. We had people calling in. And then the guidance was to put it fully online because the souls that I'm here to serve are all over the globe. And we needed a way that we could come together. Also, the energy was getting so powerful, people couldn't really drive after. So we had to make some adjustments. So in 2014, we went online. By 2015, I went totally online. And then in 2015, I began channeling. That happened in my second awakening. Wasn't trying to do that. Again, it was something that happened through my surrender to my divine destiny. So I have been told by my connection with my higher self and source that I'm here to be a messenger for the highest light. So my role in this great awakening is to support other awakened beings on this journey of awakening, not getting pulled out by the other frequencies, the third and fourth dimension, and supporting the co-creation of this new reality that, from what I've been shown, will be a golden age. So we are moving out of the dark ages into the golden age. And my role is to support this through meditations, coming together like this. I have been guided to create a sacred container called the 2020 Great Awakening. We've already begun. We officially begin on 7/7 with a live Zoom that we'll be meeting regularly, and it will all be in supporting you and thriving during this time. Already during the eclipses, I've been posting in our private group for folks to know how they can navigate the energies, how to work with it, what's happening, why it's happening. So my intention is to support all those souls that I'm here to support so that we can have the new reality experience while the old is dying away. Okay. I would love to connect with each of you. We're going to go into our meditation and transmission. But before we do that, I just want to have a look at all your beautiful faces and see you. Oh, Kara. So great to see all of you. Serena, yay. Stacy, what's up, girl? Tiffany and Adam. Love it. So good seeing you guys. Marla, Meredith, everybody, you're so beautiful. Thank you for being part of my community and being here. Oh, Lisa, my soul sister. Oh, Renee. So we've got folks from all over the US and Canada and Nicaragua. We're all over. I love it. So beautiful. So we have these light beings all over the globe, and we've been guided. Hi, Laura. We've been guided to come together. HB, what's up? We've been guided to come together to do this amazing high vibrational work and to support each other in vibrating in the frequency of love and peace and unity. And I'm so excited that we get to do it together. It's really, really extraordinary. So now we're going to go into the meditation and the transmission. You may want to turn your video off. I'll be doing that as well, just so you can go in deep. You're not focused externally on anything visual. You can really go deep with this. It's really amazing where we're going to go. So take some nice deep breaths here. I'm going to go ahead and turn my video off as well, so you can just get into the zone. Nice deep inhale through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth. Just bringing yourself more and more into your center, into who you really are. We want you to begin by feeling the presence of source energy beaming down all around you. You feel all of that love that's coming from source. You know, this source energy is specific to the earth plane. This is this radiant golden energy you feel coming from the sun that you feel right now in this moment. Is this warmth, this love, this peace, this knowing that we are one, you are one with this divine force. And we want you to feel and call on the highest light to support you. The highest light works in tandem with source energy. And this highest light frequency could also be called the highest love frequency. And it feels like the best hug, the most love, the deepest divine love you could ever imagine. This highest light frequency can be infused into people, places, and things. It can be infused into emails and books and art and gatherings like this. Allow yourself to feel this highest light energy penetrating through your skin, filling your cells. You are a highest love, highest light being. We understand that polarity exists in the third dimensional earth, but that is not where we choose to reside the majority of our time. And we're spending more and more of our time with the highest light, with source. Take a nice deep breath here, noticing if there's any resistances or fear or story or mind chatter. Inhaling through the nose, gathering up anything that you notice that's coming up here as you connect to these higher frequencies. Exhale is releasing it. We ask that you do an inhale through your nose and an exhale out your mouth to activate the natural detoxification that occurs with our focused, intentional breathing. Now we want you to feel the presence and the energy of the archangels and angels of the highest light. Every archangel has a feminine counterpart. So feeling the presence of these beloved archangels of the highest light that are with you, that are here to guide and direct you. As I've shared before, the earth plane is the only plane of consciousness that has this multidimensionality of needing to have spirit teams, as it were, needing to have this support. And we're so grateful that we have it as we ascend and embody more fully into who we really are. So feeling the presence of these highest light archangels and their beloved feminine counterparts, as well as the highest light angels. They're often partnering together, feeling their beloved presence, their love for you, their support for you. They are here to support you in rocking this 2020, this great awakening, this lifetime. And why are we in need of this support? It's from that duality, which is a falsehood. For all that is truly true is divine love at the highest frequency available. So we have our beloved spirit teams that support us in navigating this earth plane with greater sophistication, with greater clarity, with greater alignment, with greater embodiment of who we truly are while in this physical body. These supports source the highest light, archangels and angels of the highest light. They're all here to protect and guide and direct you so that you may flourish and you may become your divine human self. This means your higher self, your slice of source self, your God self incarnated into a human body. Nice deep breaths here, inhaling through the nose, gathering up any resistances or fears or anything that comes up here for you. Exhale out the mouth to release it. Now allow yourself to feel the presence of the ascended masters of the highest light. These ascended masters were once like you. They were in human form, and they went through 6 very specific and intense initiations, much like what you're going through now in this great awakening initiation. And they were expanded past their limits to see if they could serve in integrity and in alignment with their source self while on the earth plane. They have walked what you are walking, they have been where you have been, and they are now part of your spiritual support team in non-physical. Feel their loving presence, feel their grounded cheering you on. They know what it's like to be where we're at, beloveds, and they are with us. Nice deep breaths here. And I'm hearing the collective ascended masters of the highest light saying, we know it's not easy, but we want you to know it is so worth it. Love that. So feeling that support. Now feeling the support of your higher self. This is the specific slice of source that you are. We want you to invite this higher self you to flow through you, flow through your physical body. This is your higher self, your source self, your God self, your divine self that knows why you came, knows what you're doing here at this time, knows who your tribe is, or who your community is, who you came to come together and huddle up with so that you could all ascend and co-create the new reality while in human form. Allow your higher self to be present within you. You can go to your heart center here if that's supportive for you, placing your left hand on your heart center, your right hand over your heart center. Nice deep breath. And through that heart gate, if you can see this as you're exhaling and watching your heart center is opening up here, connecting into your soul. It's the non-physical energy that is incarnated into dozens, hundreds, thousands, it depends on your specific journey, of earth bodies and other bodies of various forms. So connecting into that source energy, connecting into your soul energy that is then connected to your higher self. So you're inviting through this heart gate, through your connection to your soul, allowing your God self to more fully flow through your body mind. Welcoming this God self, this authentic self, this true self, the you that knows, the you that knows the next direction, the next step, the next unfolding for you. The you that is free of attachment to outcomes, because you already know it's all divine and you're going to have an even more amazing existence than you could have ever imagined. Nice deep breaths here into the heart. Imagining with every exhale that your higher self is more and more fully embodied into your physical body. Let it be so with ease and grace. And so it is. If you feel emotional during this, allow any emotions to flow. I'm noticing tears are coming down my face. So if you notice any emotions, just be with that. Let what wants to flow, flow. Feeling the beauty of the embodiment and all of the non-physical support that you have to thrive. Beautiful. Just continuing to breathe into that heart gate. Exhale is just allowing you to embody and allowing your higher self to further anchor into your body more and more. Yeah, and the message we want you to know is that this is a free flow. Your higher self can flow through you. You don't have to worry about trying to make it stay in your physical body. This is your God self connected to source. So what we want is a clear channel for this higher self to flow through your physical body. So and it can come in through the heart is a beautiful place for it to enter. You might feel it flowing in through your crown chakra. Just notice what's true for you. You know that that's perfect. Deep breaths. Beautiful. We're going to move into the transmission here for you. So just staying with both hands on your heart. Allow yourself now to go into receiving mode. You're fully connected into your higher self. You can now go into this beautiful receiving mode to receive this transmission. Dear one, it is with great enthusiasm that we come before you today, for we are cheering and celebrating as you have arrived at a pinnacle point in your evolutionary journey. Not just your own evolutionary journey, but also for the evolutionary journey of all of your brothers and sisters, all of the willing-hearted humans that also fill your earth plane. And we know that the not so willing-hearted, those ones who have allowed the energetic frequency that we refer to as the negative agenda, an agenda that has been on your earth plane for eons, an energy that was cultivated and harvested and nurtured until it grew and grew, has been directing those who you have previously looked to as quote unquote authorities. And so this pinnacle point may not be feeling so amazing to you as much of the time as we would like it to. And we know that this time and the outright in-your-face manifestations of the negative agenda has been confusing to many. For why would those in positions of perceived authority willingly harm and hurt and enslave others? We want you to know that this is an energy, the negative agenda energy, that perpetuates itself, meaning that once a being of any kind allows it into its beingness, it grows stronger and stronger, propelling that one forward over time. If it is not removed or cleansed, it will take over this one, moving them forward to carry out all sorts of misaligned actions and activities. We also want you to know that this harm and hurt and enslavement has not ever not been on your earth since the first inception of the energy that we refer to as the negative agenda. It was built into the earth simulation itself for what happens when you are one who is on the earth plane with what is known as free will, and this energy exists. Will you take it on? Will you refuse it? Will you align with divine forces and create from that place? Or will you allow the negative agenda of separation and division and disconnection from source to move through you? You see, dear one, and we have not ever spoken about this through Heather Kristian before, we want you to know that humans could have refused this energy right from the get-go, as it were. They could have said, and many of you do now, I will not carry this. Only the highest light and love and peace and divinity is allowed in or near my sacred body-mind temple. But instead, many said yes to it, to the power, to the perceived wealth, to the perceived celebrity, to the ability to rule over others and dominate. And so there is no one to be angry or even rageful with, dear one. You knew when you incarnated here that it would be just like this, that this negative agenda had grown out of proportion in the experiment of free will combined with specific destiny points that is known as Earth. And you knew that there would be challenges for navigating this negative agenda, particularly once the year that you call 2020 had arrived. For now you are, dear one, in the Great Awakening itself. This is also, we will say, one of the primary reasons you wanted to be here now and why you are here now. You wanted to be part of this big show. You wanted to be part of the shifting in the ruling energy of the earth plane, from that of the negative agenda to that of the positive, love-based agenda. You wanted to be part of this shift for so many various reasons. Yes, some of you for the sheer drama of it, but more importantly for what it would and is currently inspiring within you. For the transformation that would have to come about inside of you and in your life from this time. For no longer, dear one, can you be out of integrity with your deep and true and dear heart. And no longer do you wish to live your life out of integrity, out of alignment with your true self, your God self, your higher self, as we often call this true you part of you. You knew and you were excited to incarnate and feel the joy that you would feel in bringing your life, every area of your life, back into alignment and integrity with this true you part of you. And this true you part of you wishes to live in greater equanimity with your earth and with your fellow humans and with all living beings. This true you desires to live in the prosperity that comes from aligning with source and living in total integrity with one's divine mission. This true you wishes for and desires to live in peace and unity and harmony and joy and in sacred spiritual practice and daily loving care and attention to your sacred heart. Do you know this? That all of this lives so deeply, so truly inside of you? We know that you do. And in this knowing, we also know that your emotions may be what you call all over the place during these times, depending on who you're speaking with or what you're reading or what media you're taking in. It's why we've tasked Heather Kristian and others like her to create what we are calling the new media, for we wish for you to no longer take in the harmful effects from what is known as the negative agenda. You see, dear one, the negative agenda knows that now is its time, that it will soon be handing over full reign of the earth plane to the positive, loving, light-based agenda. You can call it whatever feels best to you. Our only intent is that you understand that the new intended ruling energy on the earth is that of love and unity and peace and harmony with all beings. And that you are in this process, and that right now you are in the bumpy part of this process of awakening. For those beings who have accepted and taken on the negative agenda energies are not so eager to let it go. They are not so eager to surrender that greedy, lustful, ravenous energy that seeks power and control and to instill fear everywhere it goes. You know this energy because you have danced with it before at various degrees within yourself. And in order to break free of these energies, we are inviting you to clean up all the places within you where division lives, all the places within you where hatred and loathing lives. This energy is most often directed at yourself, and then over time it projects out to others. But now it must be healed within you. Wherever you have pushed away love, this must be healed. Wherever you have pushed away goodness, wherever you have let the trappings of pain and suffering and greed and quote unquote success and spite enter the sacred temple of your heart and mind and soul, it is now time to lay down these aspects now. Your higher self and what we call your angels and guides of the highest light, and your higher power herself is working to show you where this lives within you through the circumstances in your life, and very much so through your reactions to the circumstances in your life and in the world around you. We know most, including you, would not willingly agree that these aspects reside within them, but it is here with you now. And we see you clearly, and we know that this is so. And even if only a smidgen of these aspects lay within you, it is now time for it to be released from you. For in the releasing of these painful aspects from within you, your freedom, your liberation comes in with a glorious roar. Nice deep breaths here, loves. I'm watching now as the highest light, your higher selves, are pulling out. I was not expecting this, but pulling out these shadow aspects to release them for you. So allow this healing to occur now. Allow the releasing of these shadow aspects wherever you have resisted love, wherever you have resisted surrendering to the divine destiny for your life unfolding. Wherever you are resisting what is taking place now, let it be released from you now. With ease and grace, let it be so. Let only the highest love and light be present in your physical body now. Allow yourself to feel this removal. Beautiful. Take a couple of nice deep breaths here. Inhale is gathering up whatever remnants of this energy that are now being released is still there. Exhale is allowing it to go. I'm just watching this happen for each of you, and there's so much love filling your body temples as this is being released. You each had looks like a different releasing here that needed to happen. If you notice any emotions, anything coming up within you, just be present for it. You can use your breath to move it through. Beautiful. Okay, we'll continue with the transmission here. Spirit never ceases to amaze me. You see, dear one, you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. We've told you this many times before, have we not? And the most embodied way for you to be of true service to this earth and to your fellow humans at this time is to make your emotional trauma healing, your woundedness healing, your sexism, your racism, your painism healing, your top priority above all other priorities. There are many options for you in which to do this. So call them forth for you and say yes to them when they come. In combination with this healing that you just received now and that you're being invited to go deeper into, we invite you to spend time every single day connecting to and visualizing your golden age. We ask that you spend time every single day tuning into this frequency, feeling what it would feel like to be surrounded in a world where you live in community, where there's harmony and peace and love and joy and vitality and overflowing prosperity for all beings. where there is always room for growth and learning and becoming even more radiant in your expression of source through your divine human form. Only now it need not come with conflict or resistance to your becoming. We invite you into the new reality that is before you now. We know that there is another reality option, if you will, that many associated with the negative agenda are touting, but you need not pay attention there, dear one. And we know some of you feel as though this is or may come knocking on your door, and then what you ask? And we say, remember your peace. Remember your divinity. Remember that no man, no woman, no living being has authority over you. Remember that your deepest, truest, most sublime self is the only energy to ever be making decisions for you. Remember your clearness, dear one. Remember your groundedness. Remember to be clear in what you put in and on your body. Remember to elevate yourself to the frequencies of love and peace and unity every single day. It is you, dear one. It is you who has the potentiality to turn this all around. Yes, you are that powerful. Yes, your fierce focus on the divine has the ability to create the new reality. And so we are inviting you now, dear one. You have come to the precipice of your life. Can you feel that? You have come to the precipice of humanity. And this is a precipice where when you were told of its impending arrival, you said, yes, me. Yes, allow me to go to earth for this now. Yes, let me be part of the shift into an earth that is ruled by the positive, light-filled, love-drenched agenda the earth has suffered for far too long. Let me have that contrasting experience and be part of this. And so you're here now. Your life will not go back to what it was prior to this, although you may have moments of longing for exactly this. What we want you to know so clearly is that what you're seeing now, what you're experiencing now, it's always been here. It had only been hidden, although we'll say it was hidden in plain sight right around you. Always, and by always we mean throughout this lifetime and in many previous lifetimes, you were being enslaved further and further. Always you were being manipulated by what is known as your media and the quote unquote ruling authorities to perceive and act in the ways that serve the negative agenda. Always you were being pitted against your fellow humans on the basis of your perceived differences. And yet the variety in which all humans manifest as is a wonder, and it's beautiful to behold. And it was also your choice to come into earth bodies of all varying shapes and sizes and colors and preferences. You came for the yumminess that this diversity brings. And yet you have seen this diversity, this natural and divine diversity, being used to disempower you. And many have taken the bait, as it were. Many have allowed themselves to fall prey to feeling less than the divine opulence that they truly are. But no more shall this be, as all willing hearts are ready and here to awaken more fully, ready to claim their divinity, ready to claim their divine authority, which requires a deep well of emotional and spiritual maturity. You are ready to grow all the way up, our dear one. You are ready to move from scared and afraid and disempowered to full of life and vitality and deep divine knowingness. You're ready to no longer be squashed or to be made small or to be subdued by the negative agenda, but rather to acknowledge that yes, while this energy was able to rule the earth plane for many eons, those days are now over. And now the baton is being handed to all beings of source light, all willing hearts, all empowered, inspired, on purpose, in divine alignment with their full divinity beingness. And we want you to know, dear one, despite outward appearances, and we've shown this to Heather Kristian so fully, these ones are in awe These ones who are carrying the negative agenda, those who have used their misaligned choices to betray their pure heart and soul, they are in awe of you. They are in awe of those who carry the light of the divine everywhere they go, who hold steadfast to the great love and peace and unity that only comes from accessing and living in the divinity that resides within. They are, again, perhaps never to be spoken, absolutely astounded by you, and they will kneel in a humble bow to the grandeur that comes from having embodied the divine in human form. For you know that you could not be here now, hearing these words, if you were not one who has been returning to earth again and again in the hopes of being set free into embodying your divinity while in a human body. You are one who desires, more than perhaps all other desires, to embody your higher self, your God self, your true self, while in a human form. And to then co-create from this divine alignment and embodiment, and to live on this stunningly beautiful and magical, we'll say, earth plane that you currently call home. You have lived many times on this earth plane, dear one. And during those times, you have believed the suffering, you believed the pain, you formed attachments with other living beings, thinking that your salvation lay within them loving you or approving of you or even needing you. But none of this is true. Your salvation, if ever there was any to have, lies in your deep and enduring and powerful connection with the divine. It lies in your daily spiritual practice and deep emotional healing. It lies in your embodiment of your divinity, fully and completely, without fear, without worry, without trepidation. You're getting there. You know this, yes. You're becoming more and more of this true you as you disentangle from organizations, entities, other humans, what you call companies, what you call media that carries the negative agenda within it. We encourage more of this unentangling, for when you cease to feed the negative agenda, it will cease to exist. And these ones of the negative agenda are again in awe of your ability to do this, for they have worked so tirelessly to make it almost impossible not to be entangled with them. But hear this, it is not impossible for you to do so. And so when you do, when you turn the other cheek, when you look in the direction of peace and love and not the mayhem that they consistently bring, they are in awe of you. For always we, and by we mean the divine that resides within you as well, we've left you a loophole. Always there is a way out of the negative cycles. Always there is a way to rise above what has previously kept you disconnected from your divinity. Always there is a manner in which you can ascend more fully into your divine self while in your current body. Dear one, you made sure of that. That's right. Prior to incarnating into the body you now are in, knowing that you would be incarnating during the Great Awakening and the subsequent time of enlightenment to follow, or what is called a golden age, you made sure that loopholes, as you might call them, were available to you every step of the way. You made sure that you would cross paths with Heather, Kristian, and us, and others like her. You made sure you would be here for this healing transmission. You made sure you would have intersections with the light of source like this one. You made sure you would have opportunity after opportunity to create a sustainable, loving, peaceful, joyful, sacred, spirit-led, love-fueled life. And so, here is another intersection, dear one. We invite you to take it and let it carry you forward into your golden age. And so it shall be, and so it is. It is so. Thank you. Amen. So keeping both hands on your heart, just take a nice deep breath, inhaling through the nose, and on your exhale, allowing yourself to sink even further into your beautiful body, allowing the receptivity of your heart to open even more fully for this divine healing that you just received. We're going to let you simmer in this energy just for a few moments here before we move into grounding. Just taking some nice deep breaths. If any resistances came up or anything came up within you that didn't feel amazing, that's okay. Inhales, gathering it up. Exhales, releasing it. If it all felt amazing, inhale through the nose is expanding that yumminess. Exhale is anchoring it more deeply into your body mind. Beautiful. When you feel ready, if you're in a lying down position, I want to invite you to begin to sit up. It might be a little bit jolting, so if it feels like too much, you can stay lying down. I'm going to take you through a grounding process. So do what feels best to you. Your body will let you know what you need here. So I want you to begin. We're going to seal in this healing, and then we're going to, which will ground you more fully, and then we'll ground you into the earth as well. So I want you to begin by seeing a purple bubble of light that starts at the top of your head and flows down the front of your body, goes underneath both of your feet, and then up the back side of your body, and then ends at the top of your head. Beautiful. Then I want you to visualize a blue bubble of light. So we started with purple divine protection. We're going to the blue bubble of light, bringing in Archangel Michael's protection, starting at the top of your head, going down the right side of your body, underneath both your feet, up the left side of your body, and back to the top of your head. Beautiful. Now the final bubble of light here, I want you to visualize as a golden radiant source bubble of light, starting at the top of your head, coming down your body like a waterfall, down the front of your body, scooping under your feet, holding you, embracing you, coming up the back side of your body, ending back at the top of your head. Great work. Okay. Now I want you to move your attention to your feet. Let's begin with your left foot. And whether you're sitting down or lying down, just make it work for you. You're going to visualize roots, red roots coming out of your left foot and going into the earth. So see it dropping in through the floor, through the foundation, into the dirt. And then as it gets to the earth, see the earth just opening up to receive your roots, opening up to receive you and ground you. Beautiful. And then carry those roots down as far as you can into the earth. Next, going to your right foot, we're going to do the same thing, seeing those red roots coming out of the bottom of your right foot, going into, through the ground, through the foundation. And then as soon as it gets to the earth, see the earth opening up to receive you, to ground you. You and the earth are here to co-create together. She's got you. And allow those roots to go all the way in, as far into the earth plane as feels comfortable for you. Beautiful. Now I want you to do some movement here to bring you more fully back into your body. So starting with your legs, placing your hands on your legs and just vigorously rubbing your legs. Depending if you're sitting or lying down, you can get to as much as you can, but you're going to vigorously rub your legs, really feeling the energy coming back into your body, then going to your abdomen and just firmly pushing. I want you firmly, this is not light touch, we want firm pushing into the body, bringing you back into the body. You can go up to the chest, to the breasts, just firmly bringing yourself back in. Then with your arms, same thing, firmly down your left arm, just pushing and massaging down. to bring you back into your body. And now if you've been in a lying down position, I want you to come into a sitting position because I want you fully grounded before you go back into your day. Bringing your feet to the floor, so making sure your feet are on the ground, you're feeling those roots really in there for you. Beautiful. And then when you feel ready, you can begin to turn your video back on, come back in here. Love seeing your beautiful faces. So sweet. Oh, Katie, beautiful. Welcome back. So is everyone feeling pretty grounded? Are you feeling like you're back in your body? You've returned from the journey? Okay, good. I'm seeing some thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you. We want you fully back in. Please don't go and immediately drive a car or operate any heavy equipment. We want you to, be able to ease back into your day. But you just got some major energy work done. I was not expecting them to come in and do sort of like a psychic surgery on everybody. So I was not expecting that, and that's beautiful and amazing. You know the deal. When you're spirit led, you never know what's going to happen. I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. I never know what kind of healing we're going to get, what kind of upgrades we're going to get. So that was really amazing. I do want to open it up to Q&A so I can take any of your questions. If you'd like, you can post questions in the chat, or you can just, let me know that you're available. Before we go to that, I do want to invite each of you. We will be doing this on the regular. I want to invite you to join us for Rock the 2020 Great Awakening. I'll have a PDF for you to look at with more of the details. We'll be coming together in our spiritual community, our intentional spiritual community, and meeting like this every month. You'll receive transmissions like what you received today that you can listen to again and again. You get them in written and audio. We have twice weekly group meditations. You can ask me any question you want about how to navigate the Great Awakening for your life, for your business, for your relationship. We're getting a lot of shifts in relationships and our work, and all of that is going into a fifth dimensional level. So I want to invite you to join us, be part of this amazing spiritual community that we've co-created. I'm doing everything differently now, so you may notice that because I've unentangled from the third dimensional and fourth dimensional aspects. This is not going to be a web page that you're going to go to. There's not some splashy sales page. We're not doing any of that. We're not doing all the different financial vendors. We're opening up to barter, to pay in all different ways that feel right for you. We're opening it up. We're doing everything on PDF, so we're keeping things more private and secure. So you'll just notice those changes. That's just part of me untangling from the perceived business matrix that's out there about how you run a business. I don't run a business. I am a divine being on a spiritual path, sharing the wisdom and inviting those who feel called to walk along beside me and do this thing to really create this new reality. So you'll notice those changes. And again, that's because we're just untangling from all those outside matrices. I want to be as clear as possible so that I can bring through the highest frequencies for you, and also so that I can fulfill my mission and go to the new reality. And then when I leave my body, that I fulfilled my mission, so that when I go have that conversation with my higher self, it's a good conversation and I feel really good about what I did here. So let's go ahead and open it up then. I see we've got something in the chat. Okay, great. HB is asking, is there any other direction from the HLT besides zig and zag for the new mandatory mask guidelines? So the guidance has been, I'm pausing because I have my own personal feelings about this and I have to let the highest frequency come through. So the guidance has been to go to your heart around wearing a mask. We know that the masks are not about dis-ease. So for any of you that are feeling concerned about that, I do want you to know that you are totally safe. You don't need to stay safe. You are safe. A disease is not transmitted the way that the third dimension programs us to believe. This is something we've started working on in our groups before. But when you go to the fifth dimension of consciousness, you understand that all disease is consciousness, and your body will turn on disease or turn off disease based on what you're putting into it. And that includes the thoughts you're thinking, the consciousness that you have. So often folks will ask me about this. Well, what about sexually transmitted diseases? Those are consciousness pieces that you will catch. You don't catch them. They get turned on in your body if you are a vibrational match to that. All the story around you have this disease and you have to protect yourself from it, and you have to be scared of your body, and you have to be scared of other people's bodies, is totally meant to divide us, separate us from our own bodies, our own divinity, and to be afraid of each other. So we work with disease in a very different way where you're in a fifth dimensional frequency or higher. I've supported many humans over the past 12 years in healing from a variety of diseases that they are diagnosed with. And I'll tell you, the first thing we have to do when there's a diagnosis is clean up all the mind control that's told them they have this disease, and that that's bad and it's incurable and it's all nonsense, folks. So what I can say is that the master not protecting you from any disease, because disease is not transferred in that way. You can't catch an illness from anyone. You can catch beliefs. You can have beliefs that you can catch an illness, right? And that'll bring it to you. But you can't catch it from someone breathing near you or sneezing near you or coughing near you. So the master not about that. The master about control. And the master also attests to see who's willing to comply and how far can we push the humans, you know? Are they going to comply? So you have to check in with your heart on all of this, right? You know, I had someone say to me, well, I've got to go to the grocery store. And I hear that, right? We got to eat. And there's lots of creative ways to receive food, right? We can grow our own food, amazing. We can order food online. We can order the food online and pick it up at curbside. You know, I've worked out an agreement with the farm down the street of how we do things because they're requiring masks at the market. You know, now we could show up to those places and not wear masks, and I do that. And we have to pick our battles, right? How much do we want to push it? I'm not trying to change anyone else's minds. I'm trying to stay aligned with who I really am. So you've got to go into the heart and say, you know, is this the time that I need to cover up my identity, that I need to show my compliance with the negative agenda? Or can I be creative with this? Right? So folks are like, oh, I can't go to the gym, I can't go to the movie theater, I can't go to all these things. They were always going to open it up and then make it so you couldn't go unless you complied. That was always the plan. They wanted to see who was willing to comply. And most people, because they want to just go back to normal, they're willing, like, oh, it's an inconvenience, it's weird, it feels like a violation of my soul, but if this is what I have to do these things, then I'll do it. So only you can decide that. One of the most heartbreaking things about what I've seen happen is people shaming each other and giving each other a hard time and like tearing each other apart for not doing what they think they should do. No one can tell you what to do with your body. If you check in and your body's like, put a mask on, then you have to honor that. And that is between you and your higher self. And that's beautiful. And it's no one else's business. The encouragement is to find creative solutions. You know, so we were talking about this in our group, Rock the 2020 Great Awakening this morning. You know, invite people over for potlucks, have movie nights, have dance parties. We don't need to go into the third and fourth dimensional structures to do this stuff. We're being asked to create our own communities and our own sacred ways of doing that. I'm really hungry for community. I'm on the Central Oregon coast. Anybody wants to come here? Let's do the thing, you know, right? There are lots everywhere here for sale. There are houses for sale. Like, let's create our intentional community here. But you can go anywhere that you want for intentional community. And I'm being guided to do these online communities since 2015 or 2014 so that we can connect in this way. And I'm not opposed to us doing dance parties on Zoom. I mean, we'll do it however we have to do it, right? But we need to get creative and keep going. They're gonna keep trying to get you to comply, and they're testing with the masks to see how much can they get folks to comply. So you're just aware of that. You know, it does piss me off personally. I have moments where I get angry about it. But from a divine perspective, it's like, this is the deal. This is what we signed up for. So how can we be creative? We're amazing divine beings. You know, we can keep upping our creative game. But what I've seen since 2016 is that we will be, I was shown this split, and I was shown that those of us who are choosing love and peace and unity will just be operating together, doing business with each other, taking care of each other, being there for each other. We'll get to where we have very little interactions with those other frequencies. And then they're going to fall away in some way. I don't know how this is all going to play out, of course. I don't get all those details. They don't want to spoil the whole thing for us. But I get enough to know that that's what we're moving towards. So if we feel upset about, you know, these changes, and I get it, because I have that as well, just remember, it's moving us to something better, something that's in a higher frequency. How can we come together and create, you know, our own cafes together and our own, you know, I just really see us all just doing our thing together and letting go of that. So HB, I hope that gave you a little bit more. Trisha said, wow, so amazing. I had a feeling of compression on my upper chest when the channel spoke to lifting out, removing energy connected to negative agenda. Yeah, Trisha, that was so amazing. I wasn't expecting that. And I saw so much energy being released from the heart. It was incredible. Thank you for sharing that. So beautiful. Michael said, this is all new to me. I've been writing to myself about such a world and hoping for it, but thinking it was just my wishful thinking. No, Michael, you're tuned into the divine mind. Now it seems that the dream or vision that comes to me is greater than my own imagination. 100%, Michael, thank you for being here. It is not your imagination. It's actually you plugged into the source consciousness, to the divine mind, because this is the divine plan for us. And so the more of us that stay plugged into that and come together in community to help each other, because we need that. I mean, I've been doing this work since 2008. It brings such relief to my soul to come together with other beings and be like, okay, we got this, we're in this together, we're doing this, sharing the messages and saying, okay, how do we create this new world together? Thank you, Michael. Anybody that wants to ask a question on video or audio, you can just raise your hand. I feel someone. Katie, do you want me to just read your chat, or do you want to go video? I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead. Or if you can unmute yourself. There you go. You're unmuted.
Yeah, I remember on one of our calls, and I do not remember which one, you mentioning, obviously we're all eating as clean as possible. We've been doing that for a long time, but the blood type diet, and I wanted to like see if that was still like the best guidance for how to eat, because you know, I know you've mentioned like goat cheese recently, and I'm like, I didn't know Kristian ate goat cheese. And so it's just like, it seems like something is evolving there with our food, and I'd love to know more about that.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. So what has been shared with me, so many of you may know that I started what's called metaphysicalmenu.com, and that's like a clean eating site. That's how I've been eating for many years, how I was guided to eat by my team. I do eat goat cheese, and I love it. Yeah, so good. And then we started getting guidance, I think it was I want to say 2-3 months ago, that we needed to nourish the blood. So the first piece was, let's clean the channel. So we want folks just eating in this like very clean, there's no toxins in the food, because we know that distorts our channel. It also makes us more susceptible to control by the negative agenda. So we got the guidance to clean, 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 clear, clear, clear. Then it was, we need nourishment to the blood. We need your blood more nourished. And so I was guided to direct the clients I work with one-on-one to find out their blood type and then eat in alignment with that Eat Right for Your Blood Type diet. Now, this triggers a lot of people because there's a lot of things on there that they say, oh, you can't eat. I say just focus on the things they say are nourishing to your blood and eat more of those, so that that's really nourishing your blood. Don't get too hung up on it, because then it just gets kind of crazy making. So the guidance has been to continue to eat to nourish your blood and eat as clean as possible. So what I'm telling folks or guiding folks to do is do a hybrid of that. You know, you have the metaphysical menu, you've got really clean eating options and recommendations, and you know, all kinds of possibilities that your own creativity can take you to. and make sure you're eating more of the foods from the blood type diet so that you're also really nourishing your blood. And then what I'm doing is just sharing with folks as that comes, you know, as I get more guidance. I have no idea what the next iteration of this is, but we are getting guidance about how to care for the body, and that I'll continue to share that in our group, Rock the 2020 Great Awakening, so that you can work with your body, because we're becoming more light than matter in all of this. So as there's less and less density in our body, we're supporting the up leveling of our DNA. So our DNA has been getting significant upgrades in all of this. And of course, those of you that work with me one-on-one, I do body talk work. We do a lot of DNA work, epigenetic work, upgrading the DNA, because our DNA got really polluted with all the vaccinations and all the stuff that we were given as babies, right? My nephew is 2 months old. He's had like 2 rounds of, no, he's 3 months old. He's had 2 rounds of vaccinations. He gets so sick every time. It does a lot to me to watch that. And then my mom tells me about, you know, what happened to my body every time I got vaccinations. You know, I'm just like, this is crazy. So our DNA needs to be cleansed and needs to be up leveled. So that's a lot of what we've been going through. So that was our focus, Katie, for quite some time. And then the blood nourishment piece just came in. So does that answer your question and give you more clarity?
Yeah, thank you. And I have another completely random, unrelated question, but I'm happy to let other people go through the queue first, if that.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Why don't we do that? I'll see if there's anybody else, and then we'll come back to you. Thanks, Katie. That's really sweet. I appreciate that. Okay, so iPhone to everyone says, thanks for that about the masks. You're welcome, my dear. And regarding colors of lights, what does purple represent? So purple is divine protection. So we call on the purple light for that divine protection. The blue light is Archangel Michael protection, and then the golden radiant is source protection. Marla, thank you for the beautiful transmission. Sending you all lots of love and light. I have an appointment. No worries. Thanks for being with us, Marla. Let's see. HB, I'm going to come back to you. Just I want to make sure I got everybody else too. Thank you, Freddie, for being with us. Oh, Kara, yes, you're next. I'm going to go. Kara, let's go ahead and go with you, honey. Okay, what's your question, my dear?
Hi there. So my question is this: when we were in the transmission, I was seeing a lot of just different shapes, but one, and I don't know how to name it, and I was told to ask, what is a fifth dimension shape? I was specifically asked this. So once the energy started coming in all different ways, but I continuously saw it, and I usually see purple during any kind of healing. It went kind of white, and then it went golden, and then it went back to very intense purple. But the way the energy was moving and intersecting, it just was new to me. So the question is, are there some new fifth dimension shapes or energy, the way it's intertwined, that's coming to light for those of us that are awakening more?
I love that. So immediately, I have not been given first, I'll say I haven't been given specific guidance around shapes. The first thing, as you were talking, the first thing I saw was a triangle. And then as you continue to speak, the triangle was going into like a diamond triangle, and it was becoming like a sacred geometry. So I would say if shapes are calling anyone, right, start going into some sacred geometry and looking into that. But I haven't received anything specifically around that. I can always ask the team. So one of the things we'll do in Rock Your 2020 Great Awakening is if there's a question that you ask like this one and I don't have a response to it because I haven't received guidance on it, I'll go channel the message and then give it to everyone at a later time. So we'll make sure you get taken care of even if I don't have the intel right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking that question, honey. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going back to the chat. Erica's saying, I'm noticing a steep decline in my interest in eating. Yeah, so lots of fasting. I'm seeing direct correlation with vivid dreams. I'm wondering if I need to add anything since I'm not really hungry. No, let your body guide you, you know, so the fasting is definitely important. I was fasting all weekend because of, you know, when we're in these peak times energetically, when we give the body a break from eating, that supports the cellular upgrades. It's really beautiful. Lots of water, of course, is helping the cells heal. So I would say the only thing, Erica, is just lots of water. And then you can ask your body, you know, like, oh, we haven't eaten in a minute. Like, what would be really nourishing for you right now, and then go with that. But I would really let your body guide you. Yeah, thank you. That question, beautiful. Let's see, Michael says, it seems to me that the energy is very feminine, which I experience as soft and open, and it confuses me inwardly because I feel it within me. It's absolutely non-relative loving and caring without any what I call masculine aspects like domination and overpowering and fighting against. It's just pure love and clear separation from dark energies, or what I call masculine energy. I'm not always certain how to describe it, but it seems entirely good, entirely loving without any opposite. So Michael, what you're describing is the 12th dimensional energy of universal love. This is divine mother energy. So what you talk about with masculine energy being dominating and overpowering, that's toxic masculinity. So I know it's tough for our awakened brothers who are struggling with like how, the examples of what masculinity is in the world is very toxic and dominating and ruling and, hurtful and violent. That's not true masculinity. That is a distortion from the negative agenda. So those beings that are in a masculine form have this amazing opportunity to heal that within themselves, and then also find your authentic expression, Michael, as being in that quote unquote masculine form. But of course you have so much feminine energy. We all have masculine and feminine. And so it's not up to just those in what's called a masculine form to heal the masculine. I have plenty of masculine. We all have masculine and feminine within us. So we all have to do that work to help heal that toxic masculine within. And when you do that, your natural masculine comes to the forefront, and healthy masculine energy is direct, it's focused, it takes action, it's supportive, it creates structure, it brings things to life, takes that feminine vision that you connect to and it brings it into form, right? So my feminine energy is when I'm channeling that transmission. My masculine energy is when I put together this group so we can all come together, and then I'm now delivering it to you, right? So when I go into channeling the meditation for you, I'm in my feminine energy, but when I'm starting the group, I'm using my masculine energy to set the structure, move us forward. So those are examples of the masculine and feminine working together in harmony is how it's meant to be within each of us as humans, and then within the context of relationship. We also have this amazing opportunity to move out of the labeling, right? So I heard this term recently by, I'm gonna mess up his name, but HB was just reading his book and talking about it in our group, but he describes himself as soul sexual, where it's not about, masculine, feminine, it's about the soul, right? Where is my soul being drawn to? So it's a beautiful expansion. Thank you, Michael, for the question. I just realized we went way over time. I was really working to keep it to an hour. Thank you to all of you for, we're with us for the remainder of this time. I'll take one more question live and then we'll go into the closing blessing and bring it to completion. So any other questions on the video? Oh, HB. There you go, girl.
I put it in the chat too. You've talked about that we're in store for some more craziness this year. Has there been any more guidance from the HLT on? I thought I heard from someone it was supposed to like some stuff was supposed to happen in the next few days, but any other guidance on that?
Yeah, I mean, they're not telling, like, I never knew it was going to be a virus, and I definitely didn't anticipate the police brutality, although if they want to keep people divided, that's definitely a great place to go on that, because that's so painful. So I don't get like, this is the next event that's coming. I know a lot of people were expecting an event this weekend over the solstice. And I was like, well, it's not going to happen because everyone's like, where is it? Where is it? There's a lot coming out now about Planned Parenthood that's breaking my heart. So there's like more stuff coming out, more of the veil. Obviously the veil is gone, so more coming to the surface, but I don't have specifics on the events. I mean, I wouldn't be open to receiving that. And all I know is that the remainder of this year, and this is why we created Rock the 2020 Great Awakening, is that it's going to be bumpy for the rest of this year. 2021 looks a little clearer. I've been shown 2 years of the collapse, and then potentially we're looking at like 2030, 2036 to get into that golden age frequency with more beings. It's moving so fast. I can't even imagine it taking that long, but I thought I was going to be 80 by the time this happened. So, we're on, our timelines are very different now. So I'm sorry, I don't have more specifics for you.
That's good. Thank you.
And Katie, sorry, I was going to come back to you. I'll go ahead and unmute you.
This is such a random question, but you had mentioned like this is the only plane of consciousness that's had spirit teams, and that's awesome. But I have a friend who like claims that she has like one of her guides is like more of an animal spirit, and then Levi my son over the last few days has been talking about there being a big bear in his room at night when he goes to sleep, and he always like looks up at the window and he's always like, oh, the bear's here. So I'm just like so curious about this.
Yeah, so in the shamanic tradition, everyone has, you have more than one spirit animal, and my spirit animal has changed over time. So you will have animal spirits that will start working with you to support you. You could get like an oracle deck, that's animal spirits, and have Levi pull one, at any time if you wanted to like connect in more with that, or just look up what bear symbolism is and read it to him. But yeah, we'll all have animal spirits, and it's not like in the traditional sense, right? It is the source manifestation of that animal's energy imprint, right? So if we see a bear right there, we might go, well, that bear isn't embodying all that stuff that I saw. Animals are their own souls that are working through stuff as well, but it is the spirit of that animal that will bless and work with different souls to give them what they need. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. I love this. I could do Q&A with you for hours. Thank you so much for being here. We will have our next live Q&A on 7/7. So if you'd like to join us, please, Audrey, I love that. Please join us. I will get all the details to you. I will get a recording to you so you can experience this meditation transmission whenever you feel called. Let's go ahead and do a closing blessing and we'll be complete. Thank you for being here. And if you feel called, you can do left hand over heart, right hand over left hand. So we are offering up so much love and gratitude to Mother, Father, God, Source Energy, all of the highest light, all of the ascended masters and archangels and angels of the highest light. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to all of the higher selves and spirit teams of all 122 souls who are part of this divine journey together today. We ask that all of these souls are blessed with the frequencies of love and peace and unity and prosperity. We ask that this time together today gives them a great healing of the highest light and supports them in vibrating in these higher dimensions of consciousness, allowing them to transcend the nonsense and to live more fully as the divine being that they are. We ask that this time together today has co-created a ripple effect of love and peace and unity that will ripple to all willing hearts. May it be so, and so it is. It is so. Thank you. Amen. I got a message as I was doing that closing blessing just to remind you all to take it easy, because it does appear that you got a psychic surgery today, at least some part of that. So just take it easy, be gentle with your body. Notice if you feel, more fatigued or have less energy, don't push it. Don't do any hard workouts in the next 24 hours. Just let your body, drink lots of water, just let your body process this healing. And then I'll see you in, those of you that are already with us, I'll see you in the Rock Your 2020 Great Awakening group. You can ask questions there, about your processing from this healing today as well. Okay, I love you all. Thank you for being here, and I will see you soon. We got this. We really do. Okay. Bye.
What is life? What is death? What am I doing here? Who am I without?
I sat up in bed and I realized in that instant of sitting up in bed and breathing, I went, like this breathing in air. I realized I hadn't been breathing the whole time that I had been in this experience. And I made that sound so loudly, it woke Tony up, and he sat up and said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I said, "I don't know, but my life will never be the same again."
It got bigger and bigger and brighter until it was filling in every direction, and it was made up of lights and flames and white, and just got closer and closer, and then all of a sudden it hit me.
But suddenly there was like this kind of like this portal just opened, that there I could just sense that I have access to all the information in the universe.
So I had like this very deep connection with my team, offered up this prayer, and within like 2 months, my entire life fell apart. So, you know, spirit doesn't mess around. And when you ask, it is always given.
And then in that dream, I understood that what I am is mirrored throughout the whole cosmos, that I'm part of all of that. I am literally part of everything in the cosmos, and all of that is part of me. It can be seen by me through these mirrors. And so I felt like this web of life, you cannot unplug from it. You cannot get out of it. No matter what you do, you are in it, and it is glorious. And all of that energy and potential and creativity and possibility is ours. And that all of the universe is reflected in our very being, in our very selves. And everything that we are is reflected throughout the whole universe too. There is no separateness. There is no such thing as anything being separate.
2020, what a ride. My life is 100,000 times better than I ever imagined it could be.